Is that a realistic fight in May? Munguia versus Canelo.
No, that's not gonna happen. Canelo ain't gonna fool around with Golden Boy. He's not gonna give them the time of day. Canelo is in his own world. He's doing his own thing, his big boss stuff. I said he was gonna fight the other brother. You know, he's gonna fight both brothers. And his third fight, don't be surprised if he fights Earl Spence. Don't be surprised if he fights Earl Spence for that third fight.
What's up, guys? I'm Chris Algieri here, joined by Paulie Malignaggi in studio, remotely ESPN analyst Tim Bradley and George Jackovic. Welcome to Deep Waters. Today we are discussing Jaime Munguia's dominant performance against John Ryder. So let's go, guys. Take it away.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Tim Bradley, Jaime Munguia did what Canelo Alvarez could not do. He dropped and stopped John Ryder, dropped him in the second, dropped him in the fourth, dropped him twice in the ninth, and he got the ninth round TKO. Let's talk about it. Let me get your reactions. We got a lot to talk about because Canelo's name, of course, is being thrown in there. But Tim, your reactions to that fight.
Munguia is everything Canelo Alvarez wish he was with the fans. I'm letting y'all know right now. He is the epitome of Mexican-style boxing. This dude is never in a dogfight, always entertaining. You know, he is, I'll take some of yours. Let me see if you can take some of mine. That's the way, that's his mindset. You know, the way he was able to break down Ryder, I mean, it was no secret. He followed the same game plan as Canelo Alvarez. The same thing, pressure. We told you guys in the lead up, the combinations were going to be too much for Ryder. Ryder tried to fight off his back foot and try to be smart and pick his spots. And he did midway throughout the fight. He did. And he won some rounds, I would say, in the middle rounds. He won some rounds. But Munguia, younger, 27 years old, has a high revving motor. You know, the tutelage of Freddie Roach. I saw a little difference in him. A little different, just a little bit. Saw him moving his head mid-range, picking his shots. I saw that right hand down to the body, but more importantly, the combinations look sharper. You know, and that's what Freddie does. He brings he's going to enhance your instincts and what you do naturally. He's not a guy that's going to change the whole dynamic of the fighter. He's not going to do that. You know, and it's been one camp, but I did see some small little changes in his game that help him dissect, break down, and eventually stop John Ryder.
Paulie, what are your thoughts on that? And Paulie, we talked in the pre-shows for this. Most of us thought that if it was going to be a late round stoppage, it would be a body shot. Wasn't a body shot that stopped it, but Paulie, what are your reactions to the fight?
Yeah, I mean, it was head, body attack. It was an all-out assault. I credit Ryder for hanging tough for as long as he did, but I will go against him in one way. I think Canelo Alvarez did soften up John Ryder for Jaime Munguia, both in two ways. One, in terms of the physical beating that he gave John Ryder. John Ryder hung tough. He was hungrier. He was he hadn't made that Canelo money yet. He was fighting for it in the Canelo fight, and so he had more reason to be kind of tougher and hungrier and hang tough, and he did. By the time you get to Munguia, you've taken that physical, you've taken some of the physical, you know, durability out of you, having been to the Canelo fight, and you've got a bigger bank account, you know. So it's also, you know, it's a little more difficult to kind of dig down as much as as you like to it in a tougher fight. And I think those two factors, they kind of help. They kind of help John Ryder. I mean, they kind of help Munguia get the stoppage. They end up making him have the ability to get the stoppage, look impressive, and there's a little bit less resistance from John Ryder. Having said that, Tim, I also agree with you that Munguia is consistently more exciting. He is. At this point, if you really think about it, Benavidez is very exciting. Munguia is very exciting. Realistically, Munguia and Benavidez is probably a better fight, and you could kind of X out Canelo, and maybe make them fight each other, and then maybe the winner get the Canelo because Canelo is the undisputed champion. But I mean, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things where Canelo holds all the cards because he's got all the money and he's got all the belts. But I think guys like Munguia are. I agree with you. They're more exciting and consistently more exciting. You know, Munguia has that Mexican warrior type of fighting style where it's take one, give two. Take two, give four. and he doesn't even care. And the crowd, if you ever been to a Munguia fight, man, it's always loud. Whether you're there live or whether you're there in person, it's always loud, man. I was at Munguia versus Rosado, man. It's like, you know what? The crowd engages with Munguia. He's a really, really fan-friendly fighter. Mexican to the core. I really feel like he's got a lot of star ability there, you know, for everything he's accomplished and the consistent way in the manner in which he fights. But you know, Canelo's the star right now, so we'll see what the bank books decide to make as far as what fight's going to be next.
Hey, Chris, your thoughts on that? And also, Tim brought up Freddie Roach, and he saw some subtle changes in him with Freddie. So talk about your recap of the fight and also the Freddie Roach factor.
Yeah. So to Paulie's point, and also to give credit to John Ryder, really tough to go from Canelo to basically the bigger, meaner, younger version of Canelo for John Ryder. So going from Canelo, who's a guy, obviously he's very, very good, he's very explosive, but he let Ryder live a little bit. Munguia just doesn't let you breathe. So to go from Canelo, which is a little bit slower pace, to a guy like Munguia, who is just going to try and run you over, really, really difficult task, plus all the points you made, Paulie, about the bank account, and also just getting physically beat up a little bit in that Canelo fight. And yeah, to your point, Tim, I certainly saw changes in Munguia's style from Freddie Roach. I think a lot of that came from the fact that John Ryder was a southpaw. Freddie obviously had his illustrious career with Manny Pacquiao, a great offensive southpaw. So a lot of the same movements that a southpaw would use against an orthodox can be used against a southpaw from the orthodox position. So a lot of those moves, I think, were in there. Like you mentioned, that right hand to the body, which set up the first knockdown. That was a beautiful shot, which I've never really seen Munguia do quite like that, where he's actually get low and throw that straight right hand down the middle rather than just like looping with both hands. But all out, I mean, getting his head offline, putting the right hand down the middle. His right hand looked way more effective in this fight than I've seen it in the past. Seems like a lot of times in the past, he's really just kind of putting it out there just to land the left hand. And very, very busy with the left hook. Not as much in this fight. The right hand was a real weapon. He started looping it as well, which when you have that southpaw position is wide open to that. And that was actually the shot that dropped Ryder really badly in that last round. But yeah, no, I saw some improvement in Freddie Roach. We kind of talked about that before the fight. I thought that it was going to be a good marriage because of the offensiveness of Munguia. I didn't think it was going to be that effective against a guy like Ryder, who normally is very, very durable. And you know, that night, the durability was not there. Maybe he got beaten out of him in the Canelo fight. Maybe Munguia is that guy. I think it's yet to be seen. I think we got a lot more Munguia coming in the near future. But you know De La Hoya, he's been trying to jam that Canelo Alvarez fight down everyone's throat now because he's got a bona fide star building.
Well, you brought up Canelo and you led right into Canelo, Tim. That's what's being talked about. Is it realistic though? Munguia had a little cut, didn't look like a bad cut, but he said it would have to heal. Cinco de Mayo is not that far away. So is that realistic? And let's be honest, the rumors we're hearing is that Jermall Charlo was the man. You've got two guys that people want to see ahead of Charlo. You've got Benavidez and you've got Munguia. But is that a realistic fight in May, Munguia versus Canelo?
No, that's not gonna happen. Canelo ain't gonna fool around with Golden Boy. He's not gonna give them the time of day. Canelo is in his own world. He's doing his own thing, his big boss stuff. I said he was gonna fight the other brother. You know, he's gonna fight both brothers. And his third fight, don't be surprised if he fights Earl Spence. Don't be surprised if he fights Earl Spence for that third fight. You know, I've called the twice. If it goes down, if he fights his brother, and then I'm saying he gonna fight Spence next. I'm telling you right now. Canelo's been heard said also that he's not gonna fight any Mexican fighters. I've heard him say that. You know, that came from his mouth. He's not gonna participate in any Mexican fights. So, you know, the Benavidez fight, I don't think so. You know, Canelo's at the tail end of his career. You know, he's gonna pick and choose who he wants to face. He doesn't care. He has 17 world championships. He's undisputed at 168 pounds. You know, he controls the business. He controls the sanctioning bodies. You know, he's going to sell off and do what he wants to do regardless. And he doesn't care what anybody thinks at the end of the damn day. So the Munguia fight, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it. Can you imagine that fight like in Mexico or even here in the States? You know, everybody will come out and support the, you know, Mexican versus Mexican, you know, clash. And, you know, you already know it's not going to be a dull moment. both their styles clashing together, man. And I'm gonna tell you right now who I got. There's no secret who I got. You know, I love Munguia. I love what he brings to the table, but he's not defensively technical enough for me. You know, I understand he gets hit, and that vulnerability, and plus, I would say the punching power and that youthfulness that he brings into the ring, and that volume he brings to the ring, that's entertaining to the eye. You know, that's what the fans want to see. However, Canelo, again, technical, tactician, good defense, knows how to break you down. That right hand to be there because Ryder couldn't miss with that damn right hook. He couldn't miss. You know, and you would think that a guy would understand that, hey, I better keep my left hand up, but Munguia didn't. You know, he doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care to eat punches in the face. He just doesn't. Yes, it's entertaining. If just put it this way, if he continues to take that type of punishment, he'll little by little start to break down. But the fact that he's 27 years old, he's strong, he's vibrant, he can bounce back, and he can take these shots, man. He's gonna continue to move forward. I would love to see him fight Canelo, but I doubt it. I highly freaking doubt it. Why not like Billy? Why don't put him in with Billy and put him in the ring with like Berlanga or Tim, you know, even Benavidez, something like that.
Tim, what doesn't Munguia mind? What doesn't he mind?
He doesn't mind blocking punches with his face.
Yes, in the face. Yes. Coming to America. Gotta get that one.
Paulie, everything that Tim said, how do you respond? I mean, it doesn't seem like Canelo would be next, but respond to what Tim said.
Okay, there's the champ went in a couple of different directions there, so I'm gonna try to address it one at a time. I think first and foremost, Munguia put himself into the sweepstakes for Canelo with this performance, okay? I still believe Benavidez is the guy most deserving, and I think most people with logical boxing minds would say that too, but I think Munguia put himself into the sweepstakes. Unfortunately, like Benavidez, Munguia is a Mexican, and Canelo says he doesn't fight Mexicans. Unless it's a fresh release from ICE, Angulo, who's been locked up, or and then out of rehab, Chavez Jr., who's completely manufactured as a world champion. Unless it's those Mexicans, Canelo doesn't fight Mexicans. So we moved those out of the way. But then Canelo doesn't fight Mexicans. So regardless of the performance, Munguia, and he's put himself into the sweepstakes, he is Mexican, as is Benavidez. And so Canelo, I don't think Munguia qualifies as the certain type of Mexican that may get the shot at Canelo. Nonetheless, Benavidez definitely doesn't qualify as that kind of Mexican. So, you know, I feel like you're from what the rumors we're hearing, it's going to be Charlo in May. Again, I'm not going completely crazy about that yet until I get some confirmation.
Right.
But, I mean, if it's Charlo and Spence, like Tim said, I mean, dude, I don't know how you boycott it. I mean, at this point, think about it. At this point, if Canelo doesn't fight Benavidez, is this the biggest duck in boxing history? I mean, in terms of a guy in your weight class, you are the champion. He is the bona fide #1 contender. And you've got even a guy like Munguia and Morel who are dangerous as well. You're talking about possibly the biggest duck in boxing history. I'm not talking about ducks where guys from out of weight classes didn't fight each other. This is in your same weight class. You are the champion. Yeah. This might be the biggest duck in boxing history. I mean, I was talking about it, George. I was talking about it with Tommy Raynon. Again, I got to give him a shout out because he's a good boxing mind. He was talking about that the other big duck was probably Tyson against Lewis in '96 when Tyson gave Lewis $4 million step-aside money to not have to fight Lewis, and then he fought Bruce Seldon instead in the unifier. And then in the end, he still gave up the WBC title anyway because he ended up fighting Holyfield instead of Lewis. So after paying the $4 million step-aside money, he ended up still not fighting Lewis. But at least he fought him 6 years later. They did end up fighting each other, even later on. It's weird because Lewis got ducked a lot, too, in the heavyweight division. Is Benavidez being ducked more blatantly than that? I mean, I think he is, man. I think he is at this point. And Munguia putting himself into the sweepstakes just makes this weight class that much more difficult to maneuver if you're a super middleweight. And I don't know that Canelo wants to maneuver in a difficult weight class like this at this point. You know, he's been there, he's done it, he's accomplished a lot of great things. But I think at this point in his career, he's made a lot of money, he's accomplished a lot of things. I don't know that he wants to be involved in a weight class like this. But But he likes to be the champion. He likes to have the accolades of the undisputed champion. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I mean, Canelo tends to have it that way. But in reality, if you want to have your cake and eat it too, if the Jamal Charlo fight is made, and dude, especially if the Errol Spence fight is made, I mean, I don't know how the sanctioning bodies, if they don't all strip him instantly, I mean, that would be a disgrace in itself.
Well, Chris?
Yeah, listen, at this point, it looks like he's got to fight one of these guys, whether it's Benavidez or Munguia. He's going to have to break his I don't fight Mexicans decree, which I don't know what
isn't even true.
I don't,
which
yeah,
I
exactly.
just brought out.
It's that's why I said decree.
But that's the thing.
not even realistic.
How bad of an excuse does it look like when he's got to pull out excuses that he himself can't even prove to be true?
Well, it's also wild
when you're pulling excuses out of your rear end to the point where you can't even keep track of the lies. Because obviously you can't say you don't fight Mexicans when you fought Mexicans in the past.
The point is with Timmy, he doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to. He's just doing
There's
whatever
nobody,
he wants.
because you got blowhards that don't make him accountable.
No.
Accountability is a big deal.
He has governing bodies that are backing him.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not
No one will
stripping
strip him.
There's
No one will strip
he
him.
doesn't care
Because of the blowhards. The
Listen,
momentum comes from the
Paulie,
new blowhards.
You don't care about the public, what they think about you. I don't care what the public thinks about me. It is what it is. Canelo doesn't either. But he cares about the titles. He cares about the titles. He cares about the titles. If they stripped him, it'd be a whole different thing. If they forced his hand, he's going to do whatever he can because he can.
But if they stripped him, it would be forgivable to not fight these guys to a degree
because
now it's like, oh, you don't have to unify.
If he wasn't holding the belts hostage, he could fight whoever the hell he wants and we wouldn't care. The problem is he's a unified champion and he has very viable contenders. Young, tough, talented guys that are hungry and that are calling him out for years. Benavidez has been calling out for 2 years. Like this, that kid's going for it. He's been going for it. Dave Morrell's right there. He's gonna be the next guy in line as well.
And Munguia had a great performance now.
And Munguia just put, like you said, put himself in this sweepstakes. I think he has to fight one of those two. I think he can. If he is ducking Benavidez, he can duck Benavidez by fighting Munguia because he's going to make the Mexican fans happy that way. And he can say, "Oh, I fought the toughest guy around. He's better than Dave." But he can always say that and blow hard, whatever. And the Mexicans will love it.
But now he's in a rock and a hard place.
Munguia is more Mexican than Benavidez.
But he's stuck between a rock and a hard place now because if he fights Munguia, he can't use the "I don't fight Mexicans" excuse to not fight Benavidez.
He can fight Munguia.
He might beat Munguia, like
he can fight Munguia and be like, "Hey, I fought the next Mexican in line. I'm done. I retire." Because he's
what about But what about? Look. I'm going back to Floyd. I'm gonna go back to Floyd when Floyd was the cash cow.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd didn't fight them young guns. Think about who Floyd fought. He fought against Andre Berto.
Yep.
Well, Andre's at the end. Andre's at the end. Who was at the welterweight division at that point?
Oh, it was Keith Thurman. One-time Thurman. He was the man there.
Yeah.
He never fought Keith one-time Thurman. Young gun.
But Keith wasn't a championship fighter until Floyd retired. As a matter of fact,
no, he was a champion.
No, he had the secondary. Tim, I don't count the secondary BA title. I don't count that belt. Sorry, bro. That doesn't count. That secondary BA. We can't acknowledge those secondary belts.
But I'm just talking about hungry, determined. A fight that everybody probably
agreed, but he was fighting,
and he didn't fight that guy.
Agree, but he was still fighting title fights. I mean, he ended up fighting Maidana. And then he had a tough fight. He had to give him the rematch. At the point in time when you're mentioning Thurman, you got to go a little bit further back because Thurman is right at the end of his career, and Thurman has no belt. Thurman becomes a full-fledged BA champion when Floyd retires. Thurman had the secondary BA title.
Then Floyd fought against Conor McGregor.
Well, that was post-retirement. That was post-retirement. Again, we're talking about active.
Yeah, Canelo's near that point, man.
Yeah, but he still has the title. He's got the belt.
Tim, I'm going to make you a point for you. How's this? Okay, at 140 pounds, he didn't fight Kostya Tszyu. That's the one. That's the one. He didn't fight Kostya Tszyu at 140 pounds. Okay, he just fought Gotti and he passed over and he went to 147. And
let me throw this out there.
He didn't fight Margarito either.
Margarito, again, you had the Top Rank issue there. I mean, it's believable because Floyd never dealt with Top Rank again once he left Top Rank. You know, it's not like it's not believable there. You know, you have a political issue there.
Look, I'm just saying that when you get to this point in your career, you have 17 world championships, and I understand you guys' argument about the belts. And you're right.
But with Canelo, Tim, he's in the same stable as Benavidez. You don't even have the same political issues as you had with Floyd then. Floyd was fighting all guys that were politically connected on his side, and most of the welterweight division was in the PBC anyway. Okay, but in this situation, this is worse, dude, because Canelo signed with PBC to fight the low-hanging fruit of PBC. That's what I'm saying. The low-hanging fruit of PBC. I mean, a shot, bro. If we go with a shot, bro, please don't tell me you heard a good source about this Spence thing, please, because I know
No,
you got.
I didn't
I know
hear
you
a
got
good
good
source.
sources. I know you. Bro, please. It's already bad enough. We got to get Jamal, who's also fresh out of rehab, like Chavez Jr. Like Chavez Jr. Don't quote me on the rehab stuff with Jamal, but I know he's had issues. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that, man. You know what I mean? Like, in a fight that's this deep,
listen,
it's a weight class that's too deep. We can't do this.
We have a disclaimer. If Paulie reaches this octave, we do not hold him accountable for it. So if he's screaming this much,
right.
Listen,
cannot sue him. Can't sue him if it's this loud.
Everybody's gonna get mad at me. Listen, I actually love the Charlo brothers. The way on the way up, I've been a fan of them. But again, but Tim, I gotta do my job here, bro. This is a weight class that's way too deep. You can't do that, bro. You can't do it. For the sake of boxing, you can't do it.
Let's talk about Munguia. Let's keep the focus on Munguia. Tim Bradley, you brought up Edgar Berlanga.
Yes.
Now, Oscar and Eddie seem to be buddies again. Maybe that's a more viable fight. What do you think about that fight?
Love it. I love it. Edgar Berlanga got a right hand out of this world. You know, Munguia's gonna have to keep that left hand up. It's a great matchup right now. I believe at this point. I think that Munguia still needs some more building, man. You know, why not? Why not? He's fan-friendly fighter. Continue to put these top guys in front of him. Let him continue to knock them down and just build his star, man. Just continue to build his star brighter and brighter. You know, once Canelo sells off, he can be the next guy up. He can face the Benavidez.
All right.
He can face the Mbillis.
All right, Tim.
Go ahead.
You know what, Tim? I'm with you. I like that fight. Munguia Berlanga, I like that fight. But you got to strip Canelo. You got to make it a title fight. Munguia Berlanga, somebody got to strip Canelo at this point. Okay? If he goes and fights Charlo, somebody got to strip him. Munguia Berlanga is actually a really good, fun, fan-friendly TV fight. I like that fight. But you got to make it a title fight. Now we're going too far if we keep just avoiding this and just let him keep all the belts. You're going too far. Let's see what he does in May. I don't want to jump the gun. Let's see who he decides to fight in May. But otherwise, if it's low-level hanging fruit again, he got to be stripped. And Munguia Berlanga, if they make that fight, got to be a title fight.
God forbid they make a Morel Benavidez and then a Munguia and
Berlanga
Berlanga
for no
fight.
titles.
And then for no titles. And then
ridiculous.
And then
joke.
Canelo keeps fighting guys from weight classes three weight classes below.
Yeah.
It would be out of control.
Thurman and Tim Tszyu is fighting no title attached, bro. 154.
But we're not condoning that kind of stuff. In other words, you condone that kind of stuff, huh, Tim?
No, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying.
You're condoning that kind of stuff.
I actually think that's a good thing. Thurman hasn't fought 2 years. He's never fought a 54 at high level. That's what it should happen.
Let's not forget something, Chris, Paulie, and Tim. Suleiman with the WBC, I believe he said that Canelo had until March to fight his mandatory. March is around the corner. He made it seem like he would be stripped. Remember, he said this a couple of months ago? Time is ticking. March is going to be here very soon. I don't think he's going to get stripped. But he said
I believe he
would.
gets stripped when he gets stripped. Until that day happens, I don't think we're ever going to see that, especially from the WBC.
You know what the WBC stands for?
We be collecting.
We back Canelo.
Yeah.
Bro,
Okay.
Bro, if Canelo retired right now, I wouldn't even consider it a duck. I'd be like, you know what? Okay, he retired. He's done. If he doesn't retire and then fights Charlo when there's these guys going, what else is it? It's a duck. What else is it? When you got a weight class like this and you're fighting low-hanging fruit. You retire right now, you know what? I'd say, okay, you had a good career. You go. It's fine. But you
think he retires this year?
Hell
you think?
No. Hell, he's look, bro. He's gonna start fighting laundromat workers on pay-per-view soon. I mean, we're going lower and lower down the totem pole here. What are we doing? What are we doing now? If he can get away with it, he's gonna get away with it. What are we doing?
Paulie's got an inside track with a guy who makes his sandwiches. He's trying to get him in there.
I think he retires this year. I'm thinking his third fight, he's done. Third fight this year, he's done after he beats up Spence. Because he's gonna beat the hell out of Charlo.
So you're saying you got a source, bro? Who you're saying Charlo and Spence are next in line? You got a source, bro. There's no way.
I don't have a source.
You sound convinced, bro. And I know you got those ESPN connections.
Listen.
You sound convinced. Don't do this to me, Tim. Don't do it, Tim. Don't do it.
This is to be continued. We do these shows in 24 minutes. For all the fans who get mad at me for rushing, we do these shows in 24 minutes. Short, quick, sweet. We talked about Jaime Munguia. Is he next for Canelo? That is to be determined. Will Canelo be stripped? That is to be determined. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. We're really
Hit
close.
that damn like button.
Thank you. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Download the app.
Remember
It's free. The app.
that ProBox TV is your boxing channel.